Hey, this your girl Topnotch. I have a very, very, very special guest today, guys. I am so excited to do this interview on today. I am welcoming Terri Cooks to Talks with Topnotch. Hey, Terri. I finally get to do this interview. Finally.
Yes,
I'm excited.
me too.
So let's get into a little bit of the questioning. Who is Terri Cooks?
Who is Terri Cooks? I'm a wife, a mom, an entrepreneur, an author. Uh, I feel like one title doesn't really cut it, but I'm a woman of many things.
A woman with many hats, and you wear them well. Oh,
Definitely.
so my next question is, what year did you start Diversity Designs
Ooh,
and why?
wow. Actually, starting Diversity Designs was really it was an accident, honestly. A friend of mine happened to see an image on my phone that I had, drawn because I draw. And she was like, "Girl, can you put that on a shirt for me?" And I was like, I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I figured it out. I had a friend at the time who had a t-shirt business where you could give him designs and he put them on
Okay.
shirts. And so I went to him, did that, made the shirt for her, gave it to her as a gift. And she was like, "Oh no, you got to do more." She said, "You got to sell these." I was like, "Girl, no." But what happened was I posted her in the shirt and just got a lot of positive feedback and people wanted it. And I started getting more and more shirts from him. And then I was like, maybe, maybe I should do this as a business. And this was in 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
That's when you took off.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, let's get into Tylen's brand. Can you speak a little bit
Okay.
about that? Because he's taking off as well.
Yes. Talent X Gear is the name of the brand, and that was his idea, by the way, to
Okay.
name it that. Talon is my son. He's a young black man. He's in his 20s, early 20s, and he has autism. And he's always been very supportive of my business. He always, "Mom, what's happening? You want me to make a commercial? You want me to do this? You want me to do that?" He was always raised. And I had decided one day, I said, "You know what? Everybody in the family should have a brand within the business." So my husband has a brand. His is Mine Over Matter, Mine. And my daughter came up with a brand, PTO, Princess Treatment Only, which is really for her daughter, you know. And then Talon came up with Talon X Gear. And we have been doing pop ups, and I've been bringing Talon around. Talon has autism. So, he's a little different with his sales. His sales tactics are a little different. He's a little very straightforward and everything, but he enjoys interacting with people. So we've been doing little pop up tours here and there. We've been popping up at a local lounge/coffee shop, Mix and Mingle.
Okay.
And shout out to them for supporting small businesses and not even charging, just allowing. They have small business Saturdays. So we came up there for once a month for like 4 months, in addition to another pop up tour that I did with my sister in law. And Tyler's brand has done well. So we're just figuring
Yes.
out what we want to do with it next. I think in 2025, maybe we'll get an online presence going for specifically just for his brand with on my Autism Island website, which is, you didn't ask me yet, but Autism Island is the name of a book that I wrote, that just basically shares our journey in raising talent on the spectrum. And, we have a website for that. And I think that his brand would fit well on there, selling his shirts from that website. You know, we also, I also wrote a planner for parents of children on the autism spectrum, just to kind of help them um, identify different habits or ticks that their children may have. That, what I found in raising him, having that information on hand is very essential when you're trying to obtain services for your child. You
True.
sometimes when you're sitting in a room with professionals, with a doctor, teacher, whatever, and they're throwing questions at you. Well, why does he do that? What does he need? Da-da-da-da. And in that moment, you freeze. You don't remember that your child don't like I don't know, cinnamon, or whatever
Yeah.
it may be
Right.
that could turn your child off and have them do something that other people have a difficult time managing. So the planner helps you document that stuff and keep track, and even figure stuff out for yourself. Because sometimes as parents, if we had a party or something like that, our child might eat something. Our child was fine. Then all of a sudden we look
Yep.
like, wait a minute. Um,
Yep.
your,
That's true.
your child,
That's true.
your child start bouncing off the walls. You're like, wait, what did they just eat? So sometimes you have to document that so that it doesn't happen again, or so that when you send them with somebody else, you can say, hey, don't give him no cheese, or don't give him no tomato sauce, because that type of thing. So
So, how do you manage all of it? Being a mommy manager for Tara, an advocate for Thailand, and also a wife and an entrepreneur.
I'm not gonna sit here and fake like some things don't fall short because I'm doing so much, because they do. I mean, being married and having all these hats is very, very difficult. Uh, my husband is pretty understanding, but it can make marriage very challenging. I applaud him for hanging in there, because I've in my journey I've seen a lot of families not make it together,
Right.
because of the challenges that raising a child on the spectrum can bring, and it's hard, but we managed to hang in there and figure stuff out. And I think sometimes I drive my husband nuts with the next big thing, because I'll be like, hey babe, I'm about to do such and such, like this podcast.
Podcast.
One day I was like, you know what, me and April should do a podcast. And I just feel like one thing that I've learned in life, I'm not going to set limitations on me.
Okay.
The world is going to set limitations on us 24/7, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go out there and fail before I'm going to limit myself. So I just try to do whatever I want. Whatever I wake up and decide, you know what, I'm going to do it. I mean, and I think um, in life, with the different challenges that I faced as a mom, because, Tyler has his autism, but he also had something called Arnold Chiari malformation, which is it's kind of like a swelling of the brain, but it's a little more detailed than that. But what it taught me is advocating doesn't just stop in a classroom. That you have to advocate everywhere you go, everything you're doing, and not just because your child may have a disorder. I learned that with my daughter. My daughter ended up having an incident where she had kind of a baby aneurysm one time. And I had to really advocate for her. I had to become a neurosurgeon, a neurologist.
Okay.
And I'm exaggerating, but my point is that as parents, we have to dig in. We have to dig our heels in and learn about whatever's going on with our kids, because if we don't, what happens is you get in a room with people and you get told what to do. You get told what they're going to do and what you better accept. And you don't want to be in that mind frame when you're advocating. When you're advocating, you want to be in the mind frame. You work for me.
True.
I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to listen to my opinion, because my opinion is what matters the most when it comes to anything, whether it's your family, your children. At the end of the day, if you think about it, that's how it really is. And we have a tendency as people, I think, we get in these rooms, in these spaces with professionals in any arena, buying a car, buying a house. We get in these arenas and we get manipulated and we get convinced that we don't know anything. We don't know what we're talking about. And so we have to work on ourselves and do our research so that that doesn't happen to us. And I like helping people when they're, which is why I wrote the planner and my book, because I wanted people to know that um, it's difficult to get in a space and feel alone, lost, and clueless.
Okay.
It's easy because you're already overwhelmed. Children on the spectrum do things that you just don't expect.
Right.
put it in my memoir, that I wrote about our journey, Autism Island, the memoir. Talon, and my son is considered high on the spectrum, meaning he's not as challenged. He can talk, he
Mhm.
can voice opinions, he has certain skills. I'm hoping we have Talon on the show in April so that people can meet him.
Right.
But he also has a long list of challenges. And so, as parents, we have to figure out the best way to navigate that and also bring out the best in them. And it becomes a challenge. So that's why I wrote the books because, helping people one at a time here and there is nice. Terri, can you come with me to this meeting? Can you look this IP over? Can you? Sure, I can do that. But I was like, Dad, I wish I could help a lot of people.
People.
So, you hope that you put something like that together and it'll touch folks and they can benefit from the lessons that I learned, the mistakes that I made, because there was plenty of them. And people like you came into our life and helped make my life easier. We were blessed like that, and I think that families that get help and have aides and paraprofessionals that come in, you have to still be that way. You have to vet those people. You have to make sure they the right people, and we were lucky that we always managed to stay on top of the people that um, work with my son. I think sometimes people are so happy to just have some help. They take anybody.
True.
What you say? You gonna come in here? What? Come on in here.
Yeah.
But
You're right.
yeah, but we gotta realize that for some folks, everything is just a job,
True.
and they act like that in that role. It's just a job. They don't care. They don't. I was in the mall yesterday, and I saw some arch people in there with some folks. Listen,
Not a good
everybody,
experience.
everybody ain't April, you know, and so you just have to remember that when you're dealing with your kids. You got to remember because folks will treat your child like.
Yeah. And I tell everybody it's not an easy job, but you really have to have that caring spirit. You have to have patience and you have to have the knowledge of being there and being supportive to, the autism world and making sure they're not excluded from society and making, just to make sure they matter. So that's my whole fight for everyone in the community to realize, hey, you don't have to stir. You can say hi. There are people too. So yeah,
Oh yes, yes,
people too.
we love you for that. That that's that front line advocating that a lot of people get too uncomfortable to do. You know, and I think too, the Black community in particular, we have a tendency to kind of want to hide that our kids may not be like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It becomes like, oh man, you don't want to take your child to this function or that function. And sometimes you can't. Some functions aren't for
Right.
your child on the spec. You might need to use that wisdom and be like, hey, it's gonna be too much going on. Too much stimulation. But other times, um, look at it as an opportunity for your child to learn how to be around people, how to be involved, how to do stuff. And I think that was one of the big things that we did for my son. you know um, we take talent everywhere, and we try to prepare him about the space before we go. And we were blessed to have you, and you did the same thing. And I think that it really, really, really helped him learn how to socialize. And he still don't always get it right, but he's so much better than he was. And when we come into spaces of where people know him, now they're not as uncomfortable. They've learned, you know what, that's just Tyler just doing his thing. When he walk around and he may make a few noises or
Right.
whatever, they know he just
Right.
he grooving to his music. He's in his own little space. He mind his business, and they allow it, and it's okay. Whereas before it was they wanted to talk like, why is he making that noise? What's going on? I'm like, that's just part of what he do. It's okay. It's okay. And I think with the business, it's even a form of advocating as well, because when we go do pop-ups, people have to learn how to communicate with him to make their purchases. And I allow it to a point. I mean, sometimes, Tyler, my son could test with his patience. Sometimes he'll be like, look, one time when he first started popping up and people wanted to pay with Cash App, he would be like, you don't have any real money? What do you with Cash App. What the, I mean,
Oh,
he would lean over in front of the mom. This lady doesn't have any real money. She needs to come back. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I'd be
like
like, ooh. I said, listen, let me apologize. Um, he has a little bit of problem processing things that he
right,
can't see.
right.
So, let me just explain to him. And I would have to jump in because then it became weird. People,
Yeah, catch your
black folks
attitude.
get quick. They be like, oh, wait a minute now.
Yeah,
I got nothing from you, So, he had to learn. So, but now when you want to pay with Cash App, he be like, Mom, I need my phone. I need to, and he knows how to
that's
pull up his Cash App,
that's right.
pull up his QR code. He let him zap it. So it's all a learning process for everybody involved. And so it's really been a blessing to bring him into the business and kind of incorporate that because it's like he gets to make money, but it's also advocating and educating the community and him. So it's like a full circle type situation. So I love it. I love it. So even if we bring him to an online situation, I'm going to still always have him do something where he has to deal with
Okay,
customers.
true. I like that.
Yeah.
And Tylen does have good customer service. He does.
Uh, he can.
Yeah, I agree.
He can. He can.
So let's speak about the shirt that you're wearing today, Terry. Let's talk about this.
Oh yeah. The fabric infused hoodies. This was just something I came up with. Um, to do this, and I like the outcome. We got hoodies with this. We have pants where we've infused them on the pants, and it's just like a nice eclectic little look that you could throw on sometimes to have on something different. I like doing different stuff. You know, you'll find me in a patched up shirt or
Right. Different.
ripped up. I mean,
I know.
I'm very eclectic like that. I'm an artist, so um, everything that I do kind of reflects that. I mean, hence why I started the paint and sip. I incorporated that into my business, and that's the favorite part of my business actually, doing the paint and sips. I get to meet a ton of people. I get to teach them how to be creative, and it's a lot of fun.
Speaking of the sip and paint, can you tell the listening audience about the sip and paint that you did maybe before Christmas? And how did that turn out?
Oh, with the one with the apartment complex.
Yes.
Oh, oh, it turned out great. I mean, we just painted a very basic image. It was a martini glass with a candy cane, some lights over top, and we did it in Washington D.C. We had about 30 attendees, and
30. Woo.
yeah. Well, when I have a large group like that, I have my trusty assistant, my daughter. We make it a family affair about the business. She jumps right in there and helps out, and it turned out really wonderful. And the gentleman said he's definitely going to have us back in the spring to do something else for the
Mm,
residents. So that's exciting. I love doing stuff like that. You meet a lot of people, you make a lot of connections, and a lot of times they'll come back and do something small and personal at my studio. So it turns out really, really well. I think one thing that when I started this business, I didn't initially think I was going to pull the family in the way I have, but I think that's the best part about it, that the kids are
I love it.
involved and the family is involved and everybody kind of contributes in one way or another. And hopefully from when I retire from my day job, because I actually do have one of those.
You do?
I do. I have a day job too, and when I get to leave that, I will focus all of my attention on this, and because of course the real end goal is a nonprofit. I want to have, and I gotta have you. We gotta have our get our nonprofit going.
Let's
We want
go.
to show these people out here
That's right.
how to really help
Right.
um, that community that we want to assist in a way that yes, we want to help them. But we don't want to cripple them with the help. We want to lift them up. We want to lift them up, and we want to educate because I think the more that we educate the people around us, it helps everyone. It helps everyone. I definitely believe that. There have been some good programs out here. COVID hurt a lot of things
It did.
for everybody, not just it took a lot of people out, but it took a lot of programs out, a lot of businesses, and so really we're just recovering from that. Getting back out here and really servicing and helping folks and doing what we want to do. So hopefully that will continue. We got a new era coming in. So we got to I have a feeling that our work is going to really really be challenging, but I'm up for it.
Okay, so let's talk about Tara's music and
Oh,
the many
okay,
things
okay.
that you contribute to that as well.
Money.
Well, other than money, but that's important.
Yeah. You know, we have kids, you want to support them. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter was she was kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Da, da, da. I'm like, well, you're happiest when you're singing and stuff. You got to incorporate that into your life. And I honestly believe if you work where your blessings are, blessings follow.
Amen.
So I just been trying to. I'm like, work where your talents are. That's where your blessings are. You have a vocal ability, use it. And so she went out on her own, wrote a song, went to the studio without me.
And
And did some things. I said, you shouldn't have let somebody go in the studio without you, without an agreement.
right,
So after all of that went left, she realized, oh, maybe mom know a little something. So we revisited. We went back and did it the right way on her own without that individual. And that's where it started. And so she just started writing music and doing her thing. That industry is very difficult. It's hard to figure out, and it's hard to navigate who to talk to, who to communicate with, where to go. I I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting up money and giving her advice that I think just makes sense. Um, she finds a lot of opportunities on her own, and on 2025, we said we're going to approach it definitely from a more business standpoint than we have been, which I in my mind is just ching 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 ching. But I know that it's going to be worth it to support her like that, and be more organized and more purposeful with the decisions that she's making. This past year, her big project, it came off well. And it was the first time she really got a little notoriety from a video, and so we hope that we can take that up 5 more notches in 2025 and really take her there, and even involve some people that once we vet them, we can trust, and get them involved so they can do some things, because mama is doing her best, but
right.
mama just be mama, and I don't know everything, and so it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge, and a lot of times now it's difficult too, because she's a mom, so we got to throw that in the mix now.
Yeah. And how about podcasting now? Since you
Woo!
added that under your belt.
Yeah, I really enjoy podcasting. I enjoy bringing the people in and introducing them to the community, because that's the goal. We want people to know about these gems out here in
It's,
our there's so many gems in our community,
it
man. we,
is.
we got to give everybody a moment in time so that people out there can get an opportunity to meet them, support, understand what's happening, and move forward, because I think that's one of the things that's been missing from the Black community is coming together. So if we could just show that there aren't just people out here that are big time. There are small businesses out here, and indie artists, and just all kinds of individuals in our community that are fabulous, that could probably help somebody that's watching if they just know about it. You know,
Okay.
and
So
that's what we doing. What you
that's what
say?
we doing.
What did you call it? We want who's next.
Yeah, who's next?
Yeah,
Who's
we
next?
want who's next. I mean, I think it's important, and I think it's important for young people to see that. Like, I, one thing that bothers me about a lot of the young people I've met with my daughter, they don't want to put hats on. They're scared. Oh no, they got a ton of ideas, but they don't want to pursue nothing.
Right.
They don't want to sit down, write it out, organize, get it together. I'm like, that might be the next business. 2025, I might just offer a business to help people get their businesses off the ground. Like,
Oh,
meaning
I like
help
that.
them organize it,
Yeah.
on paper, so that they can actually go out here and bring it to life. Because it's so many people sitting in their bedroom with great ideas that ain't never gonna happen because they're too worried about what might happen if they do it.
That is so true. Because people sometimes need that push,
Yeah, that's
that
one thing
extra.
about me. I don't live in the might area.
Yeah, you are definitely a go getter. You like we about to do this.
I'm like, you
We
gonna
are.
die. You gonna die over there. Worrying about what might happen. You know what I'm saying? Get out there, and if you fail, it's okay. Shoot, failure births great opportunity.
So what you see coming up for the 5-year plan for yourself?
Mm.
For the diversity designs,
Yeah.
for Terri Cooks. What we having? What we have cooking?
Definitely the nonprofit.
Okay.
Going full blast into that and making that really a full blown situation, and maybe converting like the apparel and all that'll be online. I would love to have a bigger location to really have a large art studio though. That
Okay.
would, something big enough where we can even have small events there.
Okay.
People could rent it out when I don't feel like painting with people. And, I kind of feel like that would be a nice business to get into, a large location that I could convert user space various ways.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I really, really, I see that. I see that as something that I want to pursue. But yeah, those things. Oh, and I did write 2 children's books this year too, so maybe some more children's books.
That part. Let's speak on those.
Yeah, well, they of course they were inspired by my granddaughter, and they will be on Amazon before the new year comes in. So I
Okay.
got to put some work in.
Okay. See,
but
working.
but yeah, we're gonna expand on the children's books. That's a little legacy that I want to have out there for her, and which is why my daughter's name is on them, so that they'll just be out there living in the internet space for available to folks.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
when it's time. They're not up there yet, so I can't really share how to get it or whatever. But that's where they'll be. That's where they'll be.
Do we have anything cooking for a rep tonight?
Well, she has an album coming out. The goal was February, it might be pushed to March now, but
Okay.
we're gonna see. Definitely, at least by March, she has a new album coming out. So, what I call the album, I don't know I don't know. Let me date myself. I don't know what they calling it, but
Well, we're gonna call the album
I'm gonna
because
call it
me
an
and
album because I'm
huh?
old.
No,
But yeah,
we season. We
yeah,
not old.
season. Yeah, so she's got that coming out in March, hopefully, and
Yay, March.
yeah,
I'm
we'll have some
excited.
visuals to go with that. So that's exciting, and she has a 5-year anniversary for some of her music, so she's gonna maybe do a video or two in reference to that. I think she's gonna do a video for Garden.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, so exciting new things coming up.
That's my song. I love gardening for
Yeah,
so many reasons.
yeah, and it's exciting to watch her do her thing. It really is.
And what about Mr. Tylen?
Well, like I said, for Thailand, we're probably just gonna move some of his brand online and see if we can get him back working in 2025.
Okay.
He had his little work experience. He didn't like it. So we're gonna see if we can
Yeah.
try again.
Yeah.
But like I told him, if work doesn't work out, you can work for yourself.
Amen.
And we'll rev it up to really be something that can contribute to him financially.
Well, Terry, is anything else you want your listening audience to know about you?
No, no, this is just this listen, this is my girl right here, and we're doing this podcast together. I'm usually behind the camera. But I'm just excited to see what we're gonna do in 2025. We're gonna have a guest host one day so that she can talk to both of us, and we can get a little bit more information about our hostess here with the mostest. But I'm just excited to see what we do in 2025. I really am.
Just the fact that we did it.
We did it because we don't live in the what if.
Nope.
We make it happen.
We strive.
Let's toast on that.
Let's toast. I love it. So can you leave the listening audience your hashtags where they can reach out to you?
Um, yeah, well, of course, we're at Talks with Top Notch on Instagram. We're also at Diversity Designs. It's diversity underscore designs. And I also have a website for my paint and sip, which is Diversity Designs Art with Friends online.
Mm,
So, if you ever want to hit that space up, if you want to get an event, but it's better to probably just call me,
right.
or inbox me so that we can set something up. But that's about it.
Because my girls stay booked and busy. So you might want to
Yeah,
drop an email, a text message, or leave a message
yeah.
because she's always booked and busy. And I love it.
Oh yeah, and you can send an email to talks with topnotch at gmail.com if you're interested in the show. But you can inbox either one of us really for that.
Right.
That's about it.
All right, Terry. This was a pleasure to do this interview.
Yes, and thank you so much. And I want to wish everybody a happy new year. And you know,
And 2025 is our what year as we close out. Thank you for listening. You have the hashtags follow, subscribe, and we out. Peace.